Hello, hello. Hi, Aries. This is Sage. Welcome to your reading. And so now, as you can see, I had yours set up in a different way. I was feeling this song come up in my head. Na na na, rhythm of the night, the night. Oh yeah. The rhythm of my life, something like that, right? It's this old 90s song, um, sung by a black woman, I think Corona. I know it's interesting, like Corona, the name. Oh, was it Corona or was it something else? It, probably it was something else, but I don't know. Basically, it's just this feeling of um, exploring yourself at night, you know, um, being bold at night, being bold um, when there's not many people that can see. It's just like a way to get comfortable with your light, you know. Okay, so let's see what's this. Okay, I feel like it's just divided the whole thing into two parts. There's the cage over here with like um, feeling good where you are, even though it's not um, the best that you can be. There are some things that you're not really grabbing for yourself, and you're not as free as you could be. Or maybe there are things that you are grabbing in spite of being in that cage, you know. So, okay, so it looks like it's not like a big deal. Aries, you're fine. You're really doing good. But you could be freer. You know what I mean? You want to be freer. Maybe there is something more that you would like to taste. Um, yeah. So this part was just about, the fact that you aren't as free as you would like to be, even though your life is pretty good, pretty sweet right now, You're getting more or less whatever it is that you want. You're not lacking in that, but you're just lacking in the freedom of maybe being comfortable in your skin. Let's see. Because it feels like you need a stage, you need a safe space to really um, explore your light, to really be bold. Um, you you got two guitars out for music, and one is it has a cafe name at the back of it. Um, the other is your own music. So it's actually now I'm thinking of how I've had the song in my head and how it's led me to be like, oh, this is the song for Aries and this is what they're going through. So it's like your musical side of you, I don't know, whichever part of the brain has to do with creative, intuitive, um, intangible things. It is guiding you to a place where, you know, it's like the rhythm in yourself will lead you to a place where their rhythm matches with your rhythm, if that makes any sense. And this one coming like this is like, yeah, you being out of that cage, um, finding a place where you can just, you know, um, stand your ground. There are things that you value, there are things that you stand by, and this place echoes that. Yeah, the place feels like an echo. So Interesting. So maybe it's about like finding the right club for you to where you can party, or like finding uh, the right home, finding the right community where you can really be free, something like that. So you're definitely making a transition. Okay, definitely making a transition. And what I got for you was the Lucid Tarot. I love these cards. So let's see um, what you're starting as, you know. Let's see what you're starting out as. Your current representative from the Lucid Tarot. Page of Cups. Hmm. So you're obviously very caring, although it's not like you're a master of relationships. You do find yourself in a space where um, you are serving, or like, um, yeah, it's just like you're doing too much for others. You're caring too much for others. Let's see what this one has to say. Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands is all about like you shining, you know, staying in your lane and just shining your light. You're not looking after anybody's needs. You're not. Okay, the sand just wants to go wherever it wants to go. Yeah, it won't be budged. So, yeah, it really looks like, Aries, that you've started off um, pretty concerned about everyone around you. Um, you're in that phase where you feel like you need to do certain things in order to. This feels like the people pleasing part of you coming up. People pleasing and just like very concerned about others. Maybe not people pleasing entirely, but concerned about others and what they're going through, if they're on the same page as you. The Page of Cups often gives a lot of attention to what other people are feeling and might miss out on her own feelings on the matter, you know. So, yeah. And then we have the Divine Doors. This is something that'll get you from the Page of Cups mindset to the Ace of Wands mindset, where you're just like, you're exuding the star energy. You're just like burning bright, um, feeling the rhythm of the night, you know. So let's see. Let me put this aside. Divine Doors. Right. So what's going to take you from being very other oriented, let's just say that, being very other oriented to being just like the solo light, you know? Mm. Mm. Okay, so that's an interesting door. There's a lot of like um, weaving happening on that door. Look at that weaving sort of pattern. Palmistry, fortune and tarot, collective destiny. The palm lines from birth tell your sacred palmistry. Listen to the notes of intuition. Okay. So that doesn't really. Okay, so that basically tells me that this is all about listening to your intuition. Like for me, a lot of my intuition is coming through songs right now, but like, if I were to just close my eyes, sometimes I can't control it. If I were to just close my eyes, I would sometimes um, be able to just um, have like these short visions that tell me exactly what I need. And I also have tarot, I have all kinds of divination at hand. So definitely it's okay to lean heavily on these things to help you get there. That's all it's saying, you know. That's all it's saying. It's just like it's okay. And also it might be saying, especially since palmistry came up, okay, maybe some of you want to check out palmistry, but also I kind of feel like it has to do with whatever form of intuition is unique to you, you know. Yeah, maybe you see signs and synchronicities everywhere, maybe you see patterns everywhere, and that's your form of intuition that's strongest. But basically it's saying follow whatever brand of intuition is the strongest with you, because it's like something that's really part of you, you know. It's part of how you operate. Like, for example, with these songs, right, that play in my head, um, I am a person that loves to see patterns in cards, loves to interpret symbology and things like that. But when I'm listening to songs, right, it is helping me get out of my head and into my body. I am having to sing the songs, dance to them, um, do crazy things that I normally wouldn't do if I just got the message plainly in my head, you know. So yeah, when I get music in my head, I know that I have to move my body, I have to use my body, and the other pieces of the puzzle click into place. Like for you guys, when I get a song in my head, for you guys, it's like very straightforward, you know. Um, there's not much that I have to interpret, but like when I get songs for myself, they are often not uh, interpretable right away, and I kind of have to spend some energy in it. I have to like be really aware of my body, what I'm thinking in that moment, and what is making that song play in my head, things like that. So yeah, so let's see, you listen to your intuition, and then what? On a note on love. Seek different seasons to enter the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. Okay, seek different seasons and enter the unknown. When love is the focus, foundation, and goal, blessed is the body, mind, and soul. And look at that, we have like a really nice place. So this makes me feel like, there isn't just one place that you would like to go to feel free. There in different seasons, there's going to be different places that you would like to spend time in. Maybe in spring, there's this particular bench uh, in a park somewhere that really feels good. There's a particular cafe. Maybe in autumn, what you would really like to do is like um, go clubbing. I don't know. So basically, it's all about connecting to your seasons also. This is this is something, this transition is not going to happen uh, in just a month. This is going to span a whole year. You're going to see how um, you're going to see how your intuition leads you to different places at different seasons. Or maybe it's less about seasons and it's more about your moods, your internal seasons. Maybe when you're sad, you would like a certain place. Maybe when you're happy, you would like a different sort of place, you know. So, yeah. You know what? Let me just turn these around, right? Palmistry and a note on love. Oh, another song that's playing in my head is just a summertime sadness. I don't know if it has anything to do with you, but maybe you have like a particular season where you feel down, you know, and so you need to prop yourself up, go to a certain place, um, spend the night somewhere interesting. The rhythm of your life, the rhythm of the night. I don't think night has like a literal meaning here. It's just, some parts of you have been in your shadow for a while, and when you want to step out of the shadow and into the light, it it takes like a transition period. I think that's really all it's saying at this point. So let us see what's up. Um, so the shadowscapes. Wow, I was just talking about the shadow when I had this in my hand. Um, okay, in that case, let me let me put this here actually. We also got the Osho Oracle for you guys. Voila, ta-da. So I just want to know. Oh, suppression was right there. That's probably just me. I've been suppressed. We all have been to some extent. Okay, so I want to know um, how do I do this? How do I do this? I'm switching between these two. I feel like. Hmm. Okay, that suppressed card came up. It was already there. I was thinking maybe it was mine, but maybe it is ours, huh? So, um, I'm gonna ask, what part of you has stayed in the shadow for too long? Five of Wands has been staying in the shadow. Five of Swords has been staying in the shadow. Um, hmm. So to me, that just looks like, a lot of mental energy and a lot of fiery energy trapped in your shadow. And when a lot of mental energy is trapped in your shadow, you tend to do things that are quite unnecessary, because mental energy trapped in your shadow, it just means that you don't have clarity, you don't have a clear route to your intuition. And because of that, you're going to be doing what other people tell you to do. You know, you're gonna abandon your intuition for someone else's expertise. So that's the Five of Swords when I read it, in terms of like the part of you being locked away in the shadow. And with the Five of Wands being over here, so that's like a lot of fire being locked away in your shadow. When a lot of your fire is locked away there, it turns to fear. It turns to negative motivation. Fire is supposed to be your positive motivation, but when it's locked in there, it becomes your negative motivation, and it looks like getting frozen quite a lot. But also, you see the many foxes over here. Like, this is ADHD, okay? So it's basically saying that your manifestation of ADHD is basically your fire energy that's been in your shadow space for too long. And so instead of um, providing you a clear path ahead, it's just making you distracted by this, by that, and like going everywhere else except for the true direction in which you want to aim yourself at. So that's really interesting. Let me smack this down and pull this one up. So, what can get these aspects out gently, safely? Um, yeah, I can get these aspects out. Creativity and the rebel. So I'll pull out another clarifier for that, shall we? Shall we do that? Creativity, courage. Hmm. Interesting. Mm-hmm. So maybe, yeah. So maybe one way to unlock your mental energy from the shadows is to give it something creative to chew on. Yeah. Yeah, let it paint something, let it make up a song, let it do whatever, maybe imagine. And since the courage card came up for you guys, it takes courage for you to do that, because, like, as soon as you do it, there's this inner critic that goes like, me, you know? So, yeah, courage card is here because you gotta just push through that, do it anyway, you know? Yeah. So challenge yourself creatively. Just throw yourself in working on something so that your mind is occupied and it doesn't have to go into the shadows, or it. No, I feel like letting your mind engage in something creative is going to act like a shield so that the shadows don't come and claim all of that mental energy. So let's see what the rebel has to say also. So the rebel came up upside down, and we have possibilities. Possibilities. Lots of possibilities. Possibilities, 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 the dream. Interesting that that came up. Possibilities, possibilities, the mind, conditioning, playfulness, the dream. Wow. So it just feels like um, maybe the mental and fiery energy within you, the airy and scary, I'm just kidding. The airy and fiery energy within you is just like in this complex dynamic, and you kind of have to do two at a time to pull it out. So not only do you have to give yourself a lot of creative projects so your mind is occupied, right, and it's bubbled up in this world of creativity, you know, so that the shadow can't reach, can't claim your mind and go like, what about this, what about that, what about this, what about that, you know. And I feel like, so maybe you have big dreams, maybe you have like really big dreams, you know, and maybe you've been conditioned out of it. And your playfulness is like the key to um, breaking yourself out of that conditioning. You know, it's the key to being rebellious again. Because I feel like you'll need to rebel against a lot of people, the whole world even, you know, who are going to just be um, raining on your parade, um, laughing at your dreams, you know. Maybe, yeah, you're like a lion, but you've been conditioned to think that you're just sheep. You're just like anybody else, Aries. Like, why do you think you're so special? You know, that's what this card is saying. But the playfulness is not tackling this whole issue of specialness head on, because like maybe there's this question in the shadow floating around, like, am I special enough to deserve this dream? You know, maybe this dream is reserved for like celebrities like this, or like, you know, incredibly talented people like that. Maybe it's not reserved for someone like me. That's all bullshit, you know. And you don't have to, because like all of these celebrities were just normal people once, right? There had to be like a transition phase for them, and maybe this is your transition phase, Aries, you know, like, and you don't have to tackle this issue of specialness. Oh, am I special enough for this dream? Or am I uh, thinking that I am so special, holding on to this dream? Do I have like some sick need to be this arrogant, blah, blah, blah? That's all the conditioning talking. That's all your inner critic. You have like a lot of conditioning and inner critic um, keeping these parts of you in the shadow. And so your mental and fire energy is distorted into like uh, uninspired ADHD. Okay, you're just like all over the place. But playfulness can really help you break those chains. Playfulness and creativity, which means your inner child is your savior, you know. And so be boldly silly, Aries. I know you've always been silly, but be boldly silly. I didn't break out my golden sheet for nothing, you know. I didn't break it out for nothing, you know. So, So there's that. um, and maybe I just need to hmm. So what about when you find these spaces where you can just shine your light, like at a pub or a park or a, kitty party? I don't know. I don't know what you're up to, Aries, but I know what your soul is all about. Your soul is about, like, I'm tired. I need to shine my light. We need to break out our inner child in a big, 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 big way. You know, we gotta play. Like, we have to play. You know, we have to play. We have to create. Um, and that will be something that unlocks a lot of your intuition. Um, keep following your intuition no matter how crazy it gets. If you're wrong, you're going to learn only through experience, only through trusting your intuition, whether you know it's your intuition or not. Like, maybe in the beginning there's going to be like a bit of, like, a few mistakes. Like, maybe you mistake a sense of peace for intuition. Not all sensations of peace equal to intuition. In fact, the more out there your intuition is, like, the the more out there path it points out to you, the more crazy your overthinking is going to be, you know. So yeah, it's not going to be easy following your intuition at the beginning, but it'll get better. It'll get better as you let your inner child out more and more, because your inner child is rebellious, your inner child is silly, your inner child is creative, and it does whatever it likes. So let's see, when you find these new places, in different seasons, when you go out into the unknown at different points in time, in different moods, um, and you're just focusing on love, right? You're focusing on finding a place where you feel good, finding a place where everything um, is soothing, stuff like that. So, what change is that going to bring? Or if the cards are upside down, then it just means what you must further work on. So, let's see. Further work on abundance. Okay, so maybe some of these places are more expensive than you would like them to be, or it's just not your typical, it's it's just not what you would typically spend money on, you know. So when you get to points like that, what does it say? You have to work on your sense of abundance. Rebirth. Okay, so this is like saying that, yeah, you're going to transition from always caring about others, always looking, um, helicoptering other people's needs, to just like being totally in your own energy and shining it. So that's going to push you through a rebirth. The camel is for the journey, and the cloud surrounding the camel symbolizes like you not knowing where the journey is, but like being in the journey. And the lion, it just feels like that other card that came up, of the lion in sheepskin. So it's like you're releasing your inner lion and your inner child also from it. And then there's music coming up again. So maybe you guys really need to listen to the music in your head. Maybe it's not just me. So yeah, um, So as you do this, your relationship to abundance is going to change and shift. You're going to see it happen, and there's nothing that I can say at this point. You, I think by this point, by the point that you're here, by this point, when you've already worked on your intuition, and you've already been going out to different places to seek different forms of like soothing and like a different container for you to be yourself at different points in time, at different moods that you're at. um, you will already be pretty changed by then, and your sense of abundance is also going to grow along with it. It's going to match the abundance of a child. So the abundance mindset of a child, like a well treated child, is that of like, I don't know where the money comes from, but the money keeps coming. So I can go for what I want. I can ask what I want when I want. So that's the childlike abundance. So I feel like that's where you're headed, and it'll be a process. And then what is this letting go about? Let's pull up a clarifier for that too. So you'll get better at letting go too. You'll get better at abundance. You'll get better at letting go as well. Oh my God, letting go of the conditioning. Congratulations. Congratulations, Aries. So that's amazing to know. That's amazing to know. That's amazing. You're no longer going to be, uh, some mediocre sheep like everyone else. You're going to be able to let go of the conditioning that's just kept you in this zone for like all of your life. So, any last messages? Possibilities again. Yes. Okay. Um, yeah, this came up for when I was um, trying to figure out this card, right? But I forgot to talk about it. So possibilities. It opens up possibilities for you. You know, your inner child has been suppressed. Your creativity has been blocked by too much criticism, and your rebellious nature has been shunned or like suppressed again through conditioning. So all of this suppression really limits the sort of possibilities that you can uh, pick and choose from, because there are endless possibilities. Maybe you just have the one dream in your head, but maybe there are several dreams. Maybe there are several different kinds of dreams that you would actually like to just, taste. You'd like to taste every little dream. Maybe you have like a bucket list worth of dreams, and maybe, before you've just narrowed it all down to one dream, because you're like, be practical, blah blah blah. But no, you don't have to be practical. Aries, you don't have to be practical. You don't have to cling to the past, cling to your old concepts. They've just been boxing you in. You don't need that. You don't need to limit yourself to even one dream. You can really hold all the possibilities. Be greedy. But most of all, be silly. I feel like greed will still take you back to like those moral conundrums. Just forget those moral conundrums and stay with being playful. That is really the key. So let's see, with more abundance, and with more abundance and with more like letting go of conditioning, where are you going to find yourself? Three of Cups and Two of Cups upside down. So Three of Cups is to do with like celebration. Of course, if you have like a better sense of abundance, you'll be able to share that with your peers. You'll be able to celebrate more. It doesn't pinch, you know, to celebrate and see all of the money going out of your bank. It won't pinch anymore. It'll just be like you're creating joy upon joy upon joy. So that looks nice. And let's see why the Two of Cups came upside down, shall we? King of Swords. King of Swords with the Two of Cups. I feel like maybe this came up because you guys are already in a relationship, or you're already merged with someone in love. Like it may not be like a whole love based relationship. Maybe you have a sister, maybe you have a brother, maybe it's your family, but you're like attached to them. At least in this stage, you are pretty attached to them. And so it's hard to think for yourself, flow your own flow, do your own things, plan your own plan. So I think it's about individuation. Individuation. So let's just keep that upside down. On that note, we are done here. Bye. See you later.